didn't change my glasses,
Start.
but okay. Hey, well, we got to watch Dracula, Prisoner Frankenstein, and that was 2 days ago. And just we didn't have a chance to film the Schlock Talk segment until now. Got really hot. It's actually still really hot here, and tomorrow and Wednesday are going to be scorchers. Um, Still, time to talk about this movie before we forget what it was about. This was a fun movie. I had a lot of fun watching this. I read some reviews about it afterwards, at least the Wikipedia comments in the reception area. I always like to read that after watching movies, usually the production notes and the reception notes in Wikipedia. And the criticism about this movie was it was felt to be cliche. Now, this movie, Alora's over here grinning and nodding. I'll have to have you comment on that when you get to it. Anyway, this movie was kind of like a love letter to Universal Studios, specifically the monster mashup movies they did. Now, when we talk about these movies being cliche, those movies themselves were derivative, and so of the earlier Universal successes. You had like Frankenstein's monster. You had a vampire. One of them's Dracula. The later House of Dracula is not Dracula. Should be. So maybe it was. Anyway, uh, you have the Wolfman. And these mashup movies started out pretty promising. Frankenstein versus the Wolfman's pretty solid, but then from there it goes downhill. And so when this movie came out, um, I don't know. It sounds like an interesting title, Dracula, Prisoner of Frankenstein. And the reason why I picked this particular movie was it supposedly had little dialogue. And it does have little dialogue. And the dialogue that it has isn't even clear. Like, I know that you can save money by dubbing uh, uh, audio when you have actors facing away from camera because you can keep doing those dubs as much as you want. You don't have to have the actors again. And so that's a way to save money. So that was definitely probably makes it a little bit schlockier. And I know we didn't talk about whether the other movies schlock. We'll have to talk about them both here, at least for this first set of Franco movies. I'm almost leaning towards doing another Franco event because Alora didn't get to pick a movie. And there was still plenty to pick from on Night Flight Plus. So we
Yep.
might have to do that again at some point.
Yeah, I gotta pick a movie at some point.
Yeah. So what can I say about this movie? Because I haven't really said a lot about it yet, other than I thought it was fun. Yes, it's just Franco's pacing. So he does stuff like goes in like films lens flare of sun through the trees and stuff. So some of that probably could be edited out and having to give it a different feel. I was asking myself, why is this in the movie? The only thing I can take away from that is maybe it gives it a more organic feel. Like these creatures, these supernatural creatures, are actually a part of nature, and so that's what I thought about that. Was that by doing stuff like filming the lighting of the sun and so on, perhaps it gives an ambience of it's all in a natural setting. This is oh, and there was an odd juxtaposition that critics also wondered about. Like, you see a parked car at the opening credits, and then next thing you know, Doctor Jonathan Seward is riding in his buggy and horse and buggy to Dracula's castle, and we don't even know how he knows Dracula's there. Like, there's a lot of like leaps of logic in this movie. Of you have to just imagine that things are happening off camera that apparently weren't important to the narration. I feel just having watched this movie and other Jess Franco movies, he's a very visual storyteller. He he does a lot with just not a lot of dialogue for sure. And I'm trying to think of some great examples from this of that. I mean, budget wise, the Frankenstein laboratory is much smaller than, say, the Universal Studio version. So, he did put a lot of detail in there for that, though. I mean, you got diodes and electrical rays and things. He's got basically enough stuff. Like, he has the minimum flare if this were Office Space. There's a minimum flair for it to be the Frankenstein lab setup. There's some odd things though, questioning like why don't they discover that Dracula's got his own little ally after he's a prisoner, just an alcove away, you know, who's credited as Chica Vampire in the credits. And actually, I think she was my favorite character, which is kind of funny. It doesn't have a big cast. Um, Although there are some scenes with lots of people in them, maybe he just took advantage of like this showgirl singing in a local place. I'm guessing this was in France, perhaps, where this was filmed because she's singing in French. Um, what else can I say? I enjoyed. I think as a kid, I would have loved this movie. I mean, again, imagination of kids, especially this movie without a lot of dialogue, you have to insert your own story for some of it. Like what's going on. Uh, why do the Romani people? I guess supposing the Romani from the presentation, it's very caricatured, but the Romani people. Uh, why does their leader Elmira know that there's a wolfman gonna come and help out? And so there's some odd things like that. The probably one of the best sequences is the wolfman fighting Frankenstein's monster, because that was sort of like playing off of the old Frankenstein versus the wolfman. I feel that this particular movie was a direct homage to, however, to the following sequel, which was House of Frankenstein. And I think that's about it as far as what I have to say about it. Other than I liked it. There could be a sequel. Oh, there's one other thing I have to say. The movie that takes place before this, Count Dracula, that Jess Franco did, it has a similar feel for some of it. There is a prisoner who is the father of Lucy in that one. Um, and he's in an asylum played by Klaus Kinski. In this one, we have a similar character. This time, it's a woman who has the same psychic torment that she's dealing with. Somehow, she's affected by afar by this vampire, by Count Dracula, and this psychic torment imagery. Someone suffering this mental anguish, extreme mental anguish for a duration of time, features in many Jess Franco movies. Vampiros Lesbos, also um, Macumba Sexual, which is basically the same story as Vampiros Lesbos, just 10 years later. When he decided to apparently do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do this plot again. So I feel like when Franco's telling these stories, he's like picking like tropes and then like let's make them timeless. Like we can just keep telling this story, just change some formula elements. And so with this Dr. Jonathan Seward, in the Dracula novel, I believe the character's Ed Seward, at least in the version that Franco had done. So now Ed Seward, who was the fiance of Lucy, is now this doctor. And these movies aren't related by any chance. Dracula in this looks like Count Yorga, and the other Dracula is played by Christopher Lee. So, there's no, they're not direct sequels. It's just, it's like taking the elements of the movies and using them again.
I might have to watch that one with Christopher Lee.
Oh, it's free on Screenbox. I'd probably be willing to watch it again. Maybe at the next Jess Franco Fest.
Yeah, is it my turn?
Yeah. I don't think I have anything else to say, Alora. Sorry, take it. There's a lot I could say about this. I just love these monster movies. Monsters are my favorite thing. Okay.
I'll say I was pretty generous with the rating, mostly because I liked the feel of like not a whole lot of talking. It just kind of reminded me of one of those old movies.
Really?
That like doesn't have any.
Like a silent film?
Yeah, like a silent film.
I didn't think about that, but maybe he was going for a Nosferatu vibe.
Yeah, maybe.
Without a orchestral score.
The thing is I'd never been a fan of the monster mashups, and I feel as if they didn't really do much explaining for why.
Why there were more than one monster?
Yeah, why the two monsters came together. You know.
Well, you mean Frankenstein? Well, Frankenstein, according to the plot, the narrated plot from the guy who played Frankenstein, who stars in another movie that I said could be a sequel called Erotic Rites of Frankenstein, and says the same actor plays Frankenstein. Okay, go ahead. So you don't know why they're there.
Yeah.
Well, he did say that he wanted Dracula to be his prisoner because he wanted to make an army of undead to take over the world.
Yeah, that was kind of silly to me.
Well, it was kind of silly that he thought he could control Count Dracula. I mean,
Yeah.
I was surprised that Count Dracula seemed to just kind of go along with everything for the most part, other than he had his secret
Minion.
his secret minion, yeah,
Yeah,
Chica Vampire.
But I've always been a big fan of
Chica
Frankenstein, and
You have been?
Yeah, I really like the monster,
Did you say Young
the
Frankenstein?
aspect of the monster. But I always thought that no, I maybe I have.
That's the one with Gene Wilder. And,
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that one yet. I
oh,
do
okay.
plan to because I like Gene Wilder.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was I gonna say?
You've liked Frankenstein.
Yeah, the monster. But to me, the monster's always been more of a sympathetic character and misunderstood. And in this, he just seems like a villain. And
Really?
Yeah.
I just looked at him like hired help, just like that other guy they had working for him.
Yeah, maybe.
That the Igor sort of character.
Yeah, I was saying that Igor was kind of like wacky Joe Exotic.
Oh yeah, he did look like Joe Exotic, which would have been hilarious. Yeah, someone's got to do that
He kinda
edit
looked
now.
like Joe Exotic.
Yeah, someone's got to do some kind of AI Joe Exotic as the assistant of Dr. Frankenstein for this, because that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, so I think I gave it 3.5 stars.
Yeah, which is pretty generous, like
pretty
you said.
Generous.
Yeah,
And it was mostly
I was only going to do
because
3.
I liked the aspect of it being kind of mostly silent, other than a few lines here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is generous. Even me wanting to give it a 3, because 3 is average, and you know, this was more of a schlocky movie for sure.
Yeah, it was pretty schlocky to me.
I mean, you know, the budget. I mean, if you compare it to the Universal, now, have you seen the Universal Studios Frankenstein, the original one, the very original one in black and white?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, they have a bigger set.
I think I read the book when I was younger.
Oh, the book's awesome.
It was for school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else.
That's why I like Frankenstein, is because of the book.
Yeah. The monster's very
I do want to see the movie though.
Yeah. The monster is very articulate in the book. He says a lot. He has a very philosophical
I don't remember much of
person. Well, it's probably worth another read at some point. I think I have the unabridged version.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah. The unabridged version's longer. It's got more like things in it that were probably questionable. So at one point Mary Shelley had to edit all that out, I think.
Do you think they dumbed him down for the movies?
The Universal Monsters movie, definitely.
Yeah.
For this one, I think that, again, we're talking about derivation. I'm pretty sure that some of Jess Franco's choices for this were based on what the choices were at Universal Studios. They had dumbed down the monster. So, you know, I think that some of that applies here. And, you know,
I want to see one where he does talk and he's smart.
I'm sure there is one. He talks in the book. So I'm sure there is a version. He talks a little bit in the Universal Monsters movies, a little bit in Bride of Frankenstein. He makes friends with an old man. Like, he can say, like, smoke good, because he's, like, sharing a smoke with the guy, you know, and stuff. Okay. So
nobody tells him that smoking can cause cancer?
No, the guy, he's just having this pleasant smoke with this man at his cottage, this blind man. And the blind man is very... you know, just treats him like anybody else because he can't see what he looks like. He's not aware that he's a monster. So yeah, definitely plays on the sympathies.
I think that's all I have to say.
Okay, well, what did you think of it? I mean, I'm just kind of curious overall. Now, you've seen 2 Jess Franco movies. What did you think of the first one as far as the schlock element? Was there any schlock? Was the first one a schlocky movie? I thought it had a somewhat big budget. I mean, It was 2 years earlier, I should add.
Yeah, I didn't care for that one much, but I don't know. It's a little shocky, but not as much as this one.
Well, schlocky in what way? Because I mean, they had these elaborate sets, costuming. They had the horses that were all trained. They had the big battles, cannons, and horses, and they had this elaborate dungeons. I mean, although I guess that's not
I'm
too
thinking
elaborate.
of the other movie.
Which one? Dracula, Prisoner,
No,
Frankenstein?
Monolith one.
Oh,
Now I
oh.
realize which movie you're.
Yeah, I was talking about what was that
The
first?
bloody.
The Bloody Judge, or Night of the Blood Monster. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it had much Schlock.
I mean, other than the fact that they hadn't translated the German added scenes again, that was kind of disappointing because you don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So now that you've seen 2 Jess Franco movies, I mean, are you interested in seeing more? Because it's done 270 of them.
I'll be interested in choosing a movie.
Yes. I'm actually going to let you pick 2.
Oh.
So you'll get to pick the main 2 for the next one. I'll pick one. I'll probably pick Erotic Rites of Frankenstein just because I think it might be a follow-up to this one we saw potentially.
Yeah, so far not super impressed, but we'll see.
Okay.
I'm willing to give him a few more chances.
Okay, well that was me too. I've seen several now, and I think some of them I don't really like very much. Like I saw, if you want to turn back to me a moment here. Like I saw Mansion of the Living Dead, and Mansion of the Living Dead. I thought, again, he has this sort of like interest in this kind of Marquis de Sade stuff, and there's a character that's kind of masochistic in that, and a character that's sadistic in that, and they have this kind of interplay.
Like
the
snot bear.
Do we have to have the bear in there? So, yeah, I think that that element of this Mansion of the Living Dead, that was interesting because I haven't seen that in a undead film before. But some of that movie's kind of rough. There's women that are basically sexually assaulted by undead ghosts or zombies.
I think in the last movie they had a lot of
What, you mean the one with the witches being tortured?
Yeah,
or the
torture.
women,
a lot of torture.
the alleged witches. Well, they did terrible things, and they did it because they could. And it's that stupid, power-hungry church and state back during those times. So, I mean, that was probably somewhat accurate. I'm sure that they did much worse things. And again, that's why I don't really like the witch trial films. Interestingly, there wasn't a lot of sensuality in the Dracula, Prisoner, Frankenstein. That one seemed pretty straightforward, even though, Jess Franco left Spain to have freedom in 1959. This movie was made 12 years later, and it's pretty much just a straight up horror film. I mean, there's a little bit of...
Yeah, maybe he wanted to do something different.
I think he was just playing it straight to the Universal Studios, that homage. And that was why he got into horror movies, too. He saw Hammer's Brides of Dracula. And so for this movie, he was definitely trying to play Hammer, too. And Hammer's movies are known for being kind of subversive and some of the way they're presented. And so that could be where he's leaning with these. I guess I'll find out if we watch Erotic Rites of Frankenstein and see where some of the other movies go. Count Dracula is pretty straight, too. It's just like this one about a year or so earlier.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I got to say. Do you have anything else you want to add, Alora?
Nope.
All right. Well, thank you for watching. Sorry I'm waxing so, what would you call it, verbose about these movies. I just know that most people haven't seen them. So, if you get Night Flight Plus, you can watch them on there. So there's quite a few on there right now of different films from him. So that's about it for now. See you at the next one.